We've got so many cards reviewed since my midweek update. There's been tons of work to get everything updated on the Mushi Report news site and wiki. 28 cards in fact. There's a bit too many to cover in one video, so here are my top 10 cards that you should definitely keep an eye out for, though I do not have them sorted in any particular order aside from my top 3. First up, we have Be Prepared. For everyone who's been asking for the board wipe, this is what you've been waiting for, a song card that is a board wipe. This may be a 7-cost card, but then you can play it for free if you have a 7-cost or higher character to clear all your characters on the board. One of the best characters to sing this song, I think, is probably Stitch Carefree Surfer. Use his ability to draw 2 cards to make sure that you have some cards in hand, then use Be Prepared to clear the board on the next turn. By the way, I find it especially cool that this card was hinted at so long ago back in the second Q&A session when a question was actually asked about board wipes. Another great song card is A Whole New World. You know how Steel has a lot of cards like Fire the Cannons and Smash to clear the opponent's board, but they can end up with not much cards left in hand after that? Well, A Whole New World lets you replenish both players' hands to 7 cards. This card is basically Magic the Gathering Wheel of Fortune, but it being a song card means you can play it for free, making it really nuts. If you already have the board advantage while your opponent seems to be keeping their cards in hand to make some big plays later, A Whole New World is perfect for replenishing your hand while changing your opponent's hands too and spoiling their plans. This card could definitely be a staple also in combo decks where you use up all the cards in your hand so that you can just throw them back in the next turn with A Whole New World. That said, I think that this could be the start of players trying to win by decking out their opponent. If your opponent draws 7 cards from the deck multiple times, they could deck out pretty soon. Just make sure you have enough cards left in your own deck when you play this card, since we already got a ruling confirmation that if both players have not enough cards left in the deck, the active player, meaning the one who activated A Whole New World, will resolve the ability first, meaning that you'll be the first to draw the 7 cards and will lose the game. The last song card I have in my arsenal is Mother Knows Best. This is a 3-cost song card and it allows you to return any chosen character to hand. After testing out the game for a while, I feel that having board presence, meaning having characters on the board, is pretty important since you need to make sure that you have characters to quest with to gain lore. Mother Knows Best is a great way to make sure that you maintain that board presence. If you end up facing against one of the big boss characters like Maui and Triton, Mother Knows Best will help you gain tons of tempo since you can potentially sing the card for free on something that your opponent spends 7 or 8 ink to bring out. Now there's so many song cards that you can sing for free though, you'll want a way to get them all back to hand after you've used them. Well, now you do with Do It Again. Compared to Lady Tremaine, Do It Again is a much cheaper way to retrieve your action cards. Since both cards are uninkable, we can directly compare these 2 cards. Lady Tremaine always felt kinda subpar since at 6 costs it's pretty high and her stats plus lore points are all not really great. Might as well use Do It Again, which is much cheaper and easier to use. Just be careful because the action cards I mentioned earlier on are all not inkable, so you cannot place them into your inkwell. Moving on to characters, Flynn Rider. It's a really nice character to use that gives 2 lore. When he gets challenged, your opponent will have to drop a card from their hand. And if you're given a game of test play, you'll soon realize that cards in hand are a really important resource as you can run out of them pretty quick. You may draw a card every turn, but you have to put one in the inkwell and probably play one of your characters in the field every turn. So you will on average have 1 card reduced from your hand every single turn. That means a discard from Flynn Rider, even if it's chosen by your opponent, can be a really big issue for them. Just be wary though of Fire the Cannon since his willpower is rather low. Another Emerald card that controls the opponent's plays pretty well is Jasper. Whenever he quests, you get to stop an opponent's character from questing, which for me makes him a much better form of Iago. Iago gives Reckless, which is a great way to stop your opponent from questing, and I have been using the Beast's Mind to give the opponent's characters typically on a turn when they are just about to win. With the Beast's Mind, I slow them down for 1 turn, which often gives me the win to catch up in lore. Jasper does pretty much the same job even if he doesn't force the opponent to challenge since they won't be able to quest, which is the key point. You already get the quest, you also got a couple of lower cost 3 lore characters like Han Scheming Prince and Maleficent Uninvited recently, but both of these are vanillas with no ability. Well, now we finally have one with an ability with Cusco himself. This Temperamental Emperor doesn't have great stats like Maleficent, but he has 2 really nice abilities which ensure you get some value out of them. With Ward, he's almost guaranteed to get you the initial 3 law, since the only way you can get rid of him while he's ready at the moment is by using 2 copies of Grab Your Sword. In addition, since your opponent would likely have to challenge with their characters to clear him, he has a second ability that banishes the character that challenged him, similar to Cheshire Cat. Overall, I think this is a pretty decent card. And now we are down to the top 3, with this first one being really good at drawing you cards. We finally got Rapunzel, gifted with healing. Similar to a story, when you play Rapunzel, you get to heal any of your characters for up to 3 damage. The best part of this though is that for each damage that you heal, you get to draw 1 card, which means you get to draw a maximum of 3 cards if you heal 3 damage. Putting a whole new world aside, Rapunzel currently gives you the most amount of card draw in a single card, and she's even inkable. The only problem is at the moment that most of the early game's Ember cards don't really have too much willpower to best make use of her, so it might be a better idea to pair her with a Sapphire or Steel deck which has slightly higher willpower with some of their earlier characters. In second place, we have Mickey Mouse Artful Rogue, a really great Flood Bomb. Remember we were talking about how Jasper was pretty awesome at stopping opponents from questing earlier on? Well, this Mickey Mouse takes it up a notch, where he can stop a character from questing whenever you play an action card. So you have enough action cards in hand, he could stop an entire board of characters from questing all by himself. If you add in a whole new world into the mix, you would then just keep on drawing to get enough action cards to fuel Mickey Mouse's ability. Finally, here's my top choice of the week, which gives you even more way to stop your opponent from questing, is John Silver, our very first Treasure Planet card in the first chapter. John Silver is really nice since he gives Reckless to a character when he comes into play and when he quests. So every single turn, you can just block off any character from questing while you quest with John Silver himself. Mickey Mouse Artful Rogue may have the ability to block off even more characters, but you need to have action cards to pull off his ability, while John Silver just does it for free at a lower cost, and he's even inkable. Overall, John Silver provides lots of value just by coming into play, and combined with his decent stats makes him a top choice of this set in my opinion, probably even among the top 10 cards of the entire set so far in my book. So these are my top 10 cards for this week, but we got so many cards this week that I think you should definitely go check them all out on the wiki. Currently, we are at 152 cards reviewed for the entire set so far, with just 52 cards left to go till Gen Con starts in under 2 weeks and less than a month to the LGS release. If you maintain the current pace, we will know the remainder 52 cards all by Gen Con. I will of course have all of them up on Mushu Report, so make sure you subscribe to follow the news. Aside from card reviews though, we got even more news this week. First up, Team Lorcana held their third Q&A on Friday, where we got even more rulings. The biggest ruling we got, I believe, will be how abilities that state banished in a challenge work. It turns out that cards like Magic Broom or Marshmallow, another card which we just got this week, will all trigger as long as they are banished in the challenge, regardless of whether they were banished directly from the challenge or due to an ability that activates during the challenge. Marshmallow states that when it's banished in the challenge, it can be returned to hand, similar to how Magic Broom returns to hand when Mickey Mouse Wayward Sorcerer is in play. So previously, most players thought that this meant that they will be returned to hand if their willpower went to 0 due to being dealt damage by the strength of the character that they were challenging. Now it turns out that even if they're banished by an ability like Cheshire Cat or Cusco, Marshmallow and Magic Broom would return to hand as well. And this is definitely a boost to Marshmallow and Brooms, while making Cheshire Cat and Cusco that slight bit weaker. In other news, an update has been found to the Ravensburger website with new features announced. First up, we got an official store locator that's been mentioned by the Lorcana team for a while, but it looks like it's finally coming soon as an update to the Lorcana website. There's no details as to when this will be released just yet, though there are already over 100 stores listed up on the Mushu Report store locator, including many stores that are all in the Lorcana official hobby store program, so do check it out for a store near you. The site also mentions an official newsletter for Disney Lorcana news, though there's currently no way to sign up for it, so we have to wait for just a bit more info. From the website though, it also looks like there's a chance that Ravensburger will be selling directly on the website, since it says out of stock and everything for some of the products. Currently, nothing happens if you click more though, other than refreshing the page, so we'll have to wait and see. And that's about it for this week, though there's a lot to look forward to next week. First up, The Gamer has a Lorcana week coming up starting tomorrow. There's going to be a mixture of things to look forward to, including interviews, guides, lists, and more, so look forward to it. Also remember the pre-launch event that was held in Germany. Artem from Lorcana, who attended the event, has also shared that the NDA for the event ends on July 25th, which is in 2 days, so there'll be lots of news to look forward for there as well. There's been so much to cover over the past couple of weeks ever since that new community manager Rachel Brady, I hope I got the name right, joined us, that it's been both nuts and awesome to just stay updated to it. I've been constantly updating the Mushu Report news site and wiki for everything we got, so I really appreciate it if everyone could subscribe and follow Mushu Report on social media to get updated on the latest news. And that's it for this video. Thank you everyone for watching. This is Simon from Mushu Report, signing out.